Lie number one, culture is somebody else's job. I get it. You're busy. You've got deadlines. You've got budgets. The world has changed with a pandemic. And you're going, I just don't have time for culture. Well, the truth is, as a leader, culture building is a requirement. And nobody did it better than this gentleman. This is Herb Kelleher, who is the founder of Southwest Airlines. Herb passed away last year, but he put in place an organization with a culture that has lasted 49 years. So here he is, dressed as Elvis, and one of the things he did was appoint this guy, Gary Kelly, as CEO of Southwest Airlines in the year 2004. So this is Halloween, and here Gary is dressed as Woody from Toy Story. And don't judge me, but that's me. I was Barbie that year. So let me be very clear. I am not saying that dressing up for Halloween or any other occasion is the golden ticket for creating a culture. But what I am saying is if you are a leader of either 5 or 500 people, culture building is a requirement for you. So how are you making that happen? One of the ways Gary Kelly, and this is what he looks like most every day, this is Gary Kelly, the CEO of Southwest Airlines, and what he is doing here is recording a message to employees. He's recorded 44 separate messages to employees during the pandemic. And what is that saying about how we increase our level of communication in uncertain times? So I know many of you have done that, and it's not time to let up yet to continue to communicate and set the bar high. Because while culture is everyone's job in our organization, it's a requirement for leaders. Lie number two, our values are on the wall. How many times have organizations spent so much time articulating their values, defining what they look like, putting them in their training room, putting them in their lobby, and then going on about the business of work and never going back to really reinforce them? But culture isn't a faucet that you can turn on and off. So how are you and your organization continuing to reinforce your values? So this is what a basic level corporation looks like. This is what they do. They spend time in onboarding, they spend time training, do some recognition, and they call that reinforcing their values. But you don't want to be ordinary. You want to be best in class. And this is what best in class looks like. It's organizations that start before hiring. They're making sure that in their recruiting, they're showing up as an employer that people want to be part of. They can see inside the organization already. So how are we hitting every touch point along the employee journey and making sure we're living our values all the way from before we hire people all the way to performance management, and in some cases all the way to farewell? How are we living our values of our organizations? Because we know that all cultures start before hiring. And those of you in HR know this for sure, is that if you hire tough, you can manage easy. And that's what we're going for, is making sure we bring in the right kind of employees to our organization. We've hired tough. Lie number three, culture is fluffy. I get it. If you think culture is all about balloons and streamers, I understand why that might scare you, but I'm talking about a different kind of culture. But have you ever walked into an organization and they go, here's our ping pong table, we're cool, we have culture, right? I'm not talking about that kind of culture either. Nothing wrong with a ping pong table, absolutely. But I'm talking about the kind of culture that can drive your bottom line. And I refer to that as your return on culture. How are you getting that financial return on your culture for all you show me the numbers people? So I want to give you 3 examples of companies that are known for their outstanding cultures and how it definitely ties into their bottom line. So number 1, Chick-fil-A. A great example. We all know the strong customer-focused culture that we see at Chick-fil-A. And they're number 1 in restaurant profitability, number 1 in their category of profitability, Chick-fil-A. Number 2, Trader Joe's. You go into a Trader Joe's, you know you're in a different kind of grocery store. Number 1 on consumer preference, and number 1 in financial performance in their category as well. And then My favorite, Southwest Airlines, 47 years of consistent profitability. But all of our organizations have been taxed during this particular time. It's very difficult for any organization right now during the pandemic. So in your organization, in trying to return to that profitability level that all of you are looking at, a lot of organizations are starting with their focus on their customers and looking at how we're going to reach and get our customers back into our businesses. My challenge to you is to look further upstream. Look at your employees. What are you doing to put your employees first so you can get that profitability model going again? Because if we get that flywheel going and we focus on our employees and make sure they have the level of information, the level of training, the level of support to take care of our customers will keep coming back. And if our customers keep coming back, our shareholders and stakeholders are going to be happy. But we can get that flywheel going so much faster if we don't skip the importance of our employees, our frontline employees. What are we doing to make sure they have the level of training and support so they can act like owners and take care of our entire organization? And I know you're on that. I know that because we really can never put our customers first if we don't start by putting our employees first. Lie number 4, if I empower my employees, I might lose control. Well, you might, but think of the incredible upside that you might experience as well. And I like to refer to this as freedom in a framework. How are we giving our employees the freedom to express the personalities we actually hired them for, but a framework to deliver on the business that we're all in the business for? So let's take a look as an example of freedom in a framework here. Remember going to indoor cycling? The instructor was likely to pick the music, pick the timing according to the class. She had a particular framework she might have been trying to deliver. She had so much freedom. But how many of us have encountered a framework and no freedom, especially in a customer service situation? You just have the framework. So I collect customer service stories, and a friend recently shared this story with me about trying to check into a hotel. And it went like this. My friend says, hello, I'd like to check in. I have a reservation. And the employee behind the desk said, oh, I'm sorry, it's going to be $20 if you check in before 1 o'clock. And my friend's like, oh my gosh, I just stood in this long line. No, I want to go ahead and check in, but I won't go to my room. I'll just stay here. I don't want to pay the $20. And the employee said, no, I can't check you in. It is $20 before 1 o'clock. My friend is like, oh my gosh, isn't there anything we can do here? Any adjustments we can make? No, I'm sorry, it's $20 before 1 o'clock. My friend goes, all right, you can say anything except it's $20 before 1 o'clock. The employee stops talking. My goodness, how many times have you had that similar customer service experience? And when we do you think, boy, that was a bad hire? Or do we think that it's a problem with freedom in a framework? The employee is only given a particular framework and no ability to adjust to the situation and no freedom to try to deliver exactly what the customer is looking for. Lie number 5. We can't afford culture. I get it. Your spirit is willing, but your budget's weak, especially in this time. I get it. But what if I give you some things you can do that won't cost you anything? You don't even need a coupon. Let's look at a few things that we all can do in our organizations. Increase leadership visibility. This is what it might have looked like before the pandemic. This is what it looks like today. Here again is Gary Kelly of Southwest Airlines out modeling what leadership visibility looks like, interacting with employees and also showing what it looks like to give great customer service. And how are we living our values? How are we demonstrating it? How are we modeling it? Because nothing can turn an organization toxic faster than as leaders not living our values that we hold forth for all of our employees. And they may be showing up differently. So how are we articulating our values and living them out. So how are we showing up with mental health programs within our organizations? How are we showing flexibility wherever people may be working? Increasing collaboration tools so employees can connect, solve problems, work toward the customer even faster. And this absolutely won't cost us anything. How are we showing up with our empathy as leaders to relate to our employees, to whatever might be going on in their lives right now, checking in on them, making sure that they are safe and feel important in our organization. And storytelling, let's turn up the volume on storytelling, because storytelling lets employees see the unlimitless boundaries they can go to solve customer problems. And one of the channels that you can dial up, you've got Facebook, you've got LinkedIn, you've got your own intranet. What are all the ways that you're really dialing up your storytelling? And think about recognition. It's a great way to use storytelling to even promote recognition even further.